Isagi's story is one about having the audacity to see yourself as the best in a room full of people objectively better than you. All our lives, we're taught to want the thing one step up from where we are. In school, you want to be in the grade above the grade that you're in. In corporate, you want to be in the position immediately above the position that you're in, so that once you get to that position, you then want to move to the position above that. We're told to want to be better than the version of ourselves from the day before. But here we have Isagi, who from the start, even while playing for his school soccer team, had dreams of being the best striker there is. Not the best in his school, not the best in his league, the best there is. He's selected to go to Blue Lock and is told that in a pool of 300 people, he is ranked 299. So he's not the worst, but he might as well be. This ranking system immediately puts things into perspective for him. He has a ways to go. But his goal doesn't then suddenly become to be number 298 and then be number 297. He kept his goal as is. He wants to be number 1. And to be number 1, you need to beat number 1. But in his position, he didn't have access to number 1. He only had access to the 11 people that were in the room with him, 10 of which being ranked higher than him. So if his opponent can't be the number 1 in Blue Lock, then surely it can be the number 1 in the room, number 289, Kira Ryosuke. And so after being put in a position where he could advance himself by eliminating the weakest link, number 300, Isagi instead chose to be audacious. So audacious that he'd leave number 300 and choose to eliminate and effectively beat the best person in the room. And even though this time around choosing the best person in the room was a rather subconscious, rather impulsive decision for Isagi, this became a key characteristic of his. He would continuously look for the person ranked the highest, the person who played the best on the field, have the audacity to overlook the slew of players that ranked above him, and decided that the best is his rival. Not his idol, not his mentor, his rival. Someone he would exist on a level playing field with and be capable of winning against. But he didn't just decide that someone is his rival naively and with no actionable plan. He understood that he is walking onto the field weaker than the best person there, and he needs to actively destroy and recreate himself, actively destroy and recreate his understanding of his opponents, and actively destroy and recreate his overall understanding of soccer. He understood that the mindset and understanding of soccer that he has isn't the best, because if it was, he would be number 1. So the route to being number 1 involves actively tearing down all preconceived understandings of the game and remolding it to what he is seeing on the field. He understood that he would need to effectively leave the field a different Isagi than the one who walked on there. Each match he played, he had the audacity to go after the best, after the very person or set of people making him feel overpowered. He would have to understand why they make him feel that way and construct a way to not feel like that anymore. He does this during his match with the striker King Baro. He does this with the silent game master Nico. He does this with the Wanima brothers, and he does this with Nagi. Working his way up until he gets a taste of what it's like to go against the best that Blue Lock has to offer, Rin Itoshi. And even after he loses against Rin time and time again, he continues to fixate on the idea of being better than the best. Having the audacity to claim that even though the number 1 spot isn't his now, it is effectively his spot. And essentially understanding each time that to be number 1, you have to be better than the current number 1. And you do this by continuing to learn, continuing to adapt, and continuing to reconstruct yourself until finally you've built a version of yourself better than the best. And it got me thinking, with our world and the constantly changing social media markets, constantly changing job markets, constantly changing competitive markets, and constantly changing general world economy, perhaps Isagi's way of continuously learning, continuously adapting, and continuously reconstructing yourself from the bottom up, deleting what you think you know and replacing it with what you're seeing, might just be the blueprint to success. Maybe even the only way to success, or at least sustained success. Because if you aren't the best, that is already an indication that there's something you can learn, something you can adapt to, something you can adapt into the way you do things, or a total shift in mindset that you can have. A complete reconstruction of the self to finally be not just one step above where you are, but to be so audacious as to become the best. Isagi might just be onto something here.